We've got Rivalvo in Norway. Pronouns are he, him, and has researched and believes he has evidence for God. So I guess, Rivalvo, which God are we talking about, and what's the evidence?
Hello, thank you for taking my call. I actually want to prove Islam, or I have a case for proving Islam, and it's based on prophecy. So the evidence I have, and I would like to have your opinions on it, and the prophecy in question is, in my opinion, a very bold prophecy. It's Muhammad had a companion called Khalid ibn al-Walid, and he made a prophecy, and he said that Khalid ibn al-Walid would not lose a war, and that he would not die in battle. And this companion of the Prophet, he engaged in over 100 battles, and he never died in battle. He actually died in bed, and he's the reason why almost all Northern Africa is Muslim today. So, I mean, the Prophet puts his neck out pretty much, and he said that he would not die in battle. So how would you explain this very bold prophecy?
Thank you so much for your question, Rivalvo. I appreciate it. We talked about prophecies at the very beginning of the show. Now, the thing is, the evidence that you give is that Muhammad made a prophecy about his companion Khalid ibn Walid, and said he would not die in battle, and he would not lose a fight, and he would die peacefully. This is not something that is extraordinarily amazing. Many great warriors, most great warriors known to history, have not died in battle. They fight glorious wars and die under different circumstances, from sickness or in bed or whatever it is. So I wouldn't say this is a huge prophecy. You could make the case that Muhammad makes a bold claim about somebody, and this bold claim then turns out to be true. Yes, but what are the odds, really? I mean, it's likely that this is going to be come true, and just because it happened to come true, this is again not proof that he is a true prophet. Now, you take these prophecies and the lives of Khalid ibn Walid from secondary sources, which were only compiled much later after Muhammad's death. So we already can raise questions about whether you can rely these prophecies or not. But my issue with all of this is not to question the origins or the authenticity or the reliability of these prophecies. My issue with it is, why do you take prophecies that seemingly turned out to be true, but dismiss other prophecies or explain them away in different ways, which did not turn out to be true? For example, Muhammad talked about how Rome will be conquered, and by Rome he did refer to the center of the Romans. It didn't happen. It will not happen. He talked about how the Constantinople will be conquered, Jerusalem and Constantinople will be conquered in a short time, and then the Dajjal will come. The Dajjal is the Islamic version of the Antichrist. Jerusalem was conquered immediately after Muhammad's death. Historically, it's even argued that it might have been conquered during his lifetime, and that there might be some problems with recording the information correctly. Constantinople was conquered in the 15th century, and the world is still around. Muhammad said that when asked when the end would come, he said, pointing at a boy in his presence, "Before this boy grows very old, the last day will come to you." Obviously, we are all still alive. It didn't come. He said, "I and the day of judgment are like this," meaning about to happen. It didn't happen. He said Jesus would descend very soon. It didn't happen, and so on. There are numerous prophecies that Muhammad made which just fail, and you have to find ways to explain why they failed by simply reinterpreting them. So why would you dismiss all of that and go for something very vague that you think has come true? That's my problem with it.
I can understand having a skepticism. Let's assume what you said, he had many failed prophecies, and that may very well be true, but from how I see it and from the narrations that I have read, is that Khalid ibn Walid, the companion, and this is according to the narrations, when he was on his deathbed, he said to the people next to him that he wanted to die in battle, and he actually had an incentive, because if you die in battle, you get free entry to paradise. So, I mean, he had an incentive
Rivalvo.
to die,
No,
but he still didn't die.
no, Rivalvo. So first of all, let's take a look at, like, for example, World War II. Roughly 14% of the soldiers in World War I, roughly 14% of soldiers in World War I believe, died. So would it be a particularly impressive prediction to pick any given soldier and say, you're not going to die in battle? Because you got an 86% chance of being right. And so if you take a look at the wars in question, and for particularly impressive military members, especially, the better they are, the more likely they are to be in charge and all this other stuff. It doesn't matter if he wanted to die in battle. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks should happen. It's not that impressive to say, I'm going to predict that this person doesn't die in battle. And then when they don't die, you claim a victory. And then when you look at the other prophecies, which you seem to admit that you haven't bothered looking at, that those other prophecies that failed don't alter this. So, I mean, it's like you said, you studied, you've researched, you have evidence for God. You haven't presented anything in the ballpark of actual evidence. All you've done is say, hey, here's a prophecy, and it seems pretty incredible to me. Well, big friggin' deal.
I mean, I have a big issue with the fact that you said it may very well be that there are failed prophecies, but this one is very big. I mean, you are saying that you are here to prove Islam true, but you say it may very well be that there are failed prophecies. If there are failed prophecies, if it may very well be, and we're talking about Muhammad, the ultimately guided prophet of Allah, is it really wise for you to try and find some prophecies that happen to come true and to say, this is why I believe in Islam?
Well, the reason, my reasoning is that any prophecy, like if you can predict one thing that is very hard to predict, that to me is, substantial. Like that.
On the contrary,
like
if you can predict 500 things correctly, but you predict one thing blatantly incorrectly, while claiming that everything you say is inspired by the Almighty Allah, then I cannot trust you. I cannot trust that you are telling me the truth, because you have just made a blatantly false prophecy for everyone to see, while claiming that you are divinely inspired by Allah. If that is true, if you are a prophet, then you must be telling me the truth, because you deliver a message and want me to believe in Allah. You want me to be confident with this. Allah gave you this mission, the ultimate creator, who tests you with life and death and sends you to heaven and hell, but you can make a blatantly false prediction? I'm sorry, I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got to move on, Rivalvo. I got to move on. I want think about it. Call us back another week, especially a week when we've got Apostate Prophet on. But when you say that it's an impressive prediction, I don't think it's remotely impressive. I don't know that that the story is even true. I don't find it particularly impressive to say that somebody's not going to die in battle. And even if it came true and was unlikely, you have no way of saying the reason this person accurately made this prediction is because they knew it would happen, because Allah told them. None of that follows. And so while you may be impressed by it and think, wow, I can't think of another explanation other than Allah guided this, that's a failure of your ability to imagine and investigate, and isn't actually evidence for God.
But thank you so much, Rivalvo.